And I have with me Hema Bedi. We're going to start talking about Hema Bedi, how she got into being a corporate woman to being, surprise, surprise. Let Hema tell her story herself. Welcome, Hema.
Thank you, Chaya. It's wonderful to be on your show. And I really like your MAD, the MAD. I think it is so appropriate. Make a difference. You have to be a little extra something to be able to do the kind of things that one has done. And I'd be happy to tell you about it.
Okay. Tell me all about it. What you were doing before you became mad.
Yeah. I'm primarily from a business family in Bangalore and Mysore. And we have been here for many years. I've been born and brought up this side. And primarily, from my schooling to college days in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, from Uti and Mysore University, I started to build a career in advertising and films. By films, I mean like making films also, but more on film production work.
Okay.
With units that were from Bollywood and Hollywood, as well as the local regional industries.
Okay.
And basically, I coordinated production and casting for them. And of course, I had my agency called Shiva Ads. And
All right.
for many years, I was working on very interesting creative work.
Print media.
Print media,
Okay.
press media, also AVs and documentaries. And I worked with a section of very high-level clientele, including corporates and government.
Okay.
So
This was all in Bangalore.
this was all Bangalore-based. That's right.
Okay. Then
Well, you know how it is when you come from
when did you
this
go mad?
when you come from this garden city
Yeah.
and you see what's happening to it. I mean, the less we talk about it, its condition today,
Yes.
the better. But it started far back.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's just built up to this.
It's
now.
just built up to this.
Okay.
So for people like us who were living examples of the garden city culture, it was very disturbing. I was going through a crisis about the material world and my spiritual self.
Okay.
And this was creating quite a bit of havoc with me because I was beginning to question my inner self so much. And I was realizing that I had very little satisfaction in what I was doing in this rat race, making the money and running after a glamorous lifestyle and feeling empty within.
It's amazing how a couple of people who have come onto my show, they've said the same thing, that we are so successful in our corporate life, but somewhere it made us realize something is missing.
That's right. And believe you me, at that point, I really needed to identify with what was happening and I needed to find appropriate solutions. So I thought taking a sabbatical would be the best thing possible, where I would have time to explore more of these inner queries that were churning within me. And I moved from the bustling city, which was losing its charm, to really the back of beyond, but a very pretty rural area close to Bangalore in
Okay.
Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
So I moved to Penakunda, where I have a brother who has been in the NGO sector for over 40 years. And he was doing a lot of work with unionization of agricultural laborers and working with their women to organize them into self-help groups.
Okay.
And they have a pretty large setup, a nice 30-acre farm and, buildings for the offices, buildings for their staff and things like that. So I decided to move there. And I thought it would be a nice place in the middle of nature and in this rural environment to really rediscover myself. So that's what I did, Chaya. I moved there and I spent a year and a half really pottering around, doing nothing much. It was so relaxing. So, I grew plants, I grew herbs, I made lotions and potions and thoroughly enjoyed myself, took lots of nature walks and, went into the sunrise, went into the sunset and learned to live with all the different kinds of animal species and insect species that you have around,
Okay.
including your snakes and your scorpions, etc. They were also very much a part of that entire natural environment.
Okay.
So it's funny, but you get used to living with these kind of things and you know how to tackle them once you really go out and live there. So I was able to overcome any kind of fear or reservations that I had about these kind of animal life
Fear.
and kingdom.
Okay.
So it just became a part and parcel of everything that I had seen in that environment. And I found a lot of peace, but I still didn't know what I was going to do. So my brother quite often told me, why don't you join me? I need a gender coordinator and, I think you would be able to fit the bill. So my only reservation was that I felt I needed to have that kind of commitment before I could get into anything like this.
Yeah.
And working with family is even more sensitive. So
Yes.
one needed to be sure that you were going to do a good job for him. So I hemmed and I hawed and I heed and hooed, and finally it dawned on me that, it might be worth a try. Let's at least do it on a trial basis.
Okay.
And already I was in any case sort of hosting all his foreign delegations who were coming and volunteers who were coming, and, I would escort them to the villages and give them a briefing and look after them and stuff like that. So I was getting sort of tuned into the whole thing. So in June of 1998, July 1998,
Okay.
I joined him as gender coordinator.
Okay.
And within 3 years of my being there, 3 months of my being gender coordinator, I walked straight into the issue of human trafficking for commercial sexual exploitation
Really? Okay.
in the villages.
Mm-hmm.
And that, Chaya, drove me mad.
Okay.
It did something to me. I
couldn't
could
handle
not
that.
believe that this was actually happening under our noses.
Mm-hmm.
That so many girls, young girls and women, and girls as young as 10 and 12
Oh my God.
were being sold off into the flesh trade
By their parents?
by the parents, or in some cases, the parents were led to believe that it was a, domestic job. They were duped.
Okay.
So there was a percentage that was duped. There was a percentage that was in the know-how, but it was just too shocking.
Mm-hmm.
And I became so passionate about it, I just felt I had to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. I just got up and I did whatever I had to do. Let me tell you that did whatever I had to do was, it was like an open playground, because there's no kind of model that you can follow on interventions. There is at that point of time, no work had been done at all on the issue of human trafficking from the grassroots. Supply zones, nobody had touched. Source areas, nobody had touched. All interventions were purely at
recovery
the demand
level.
side.
Okay.
Demand side.
Okay, not
in the organized red light sector,
okay.
red light areas.
But not all over the place. It was nobody knew about that.
No.
They thought it was all specific to the red light area.
Well, it was specific to the red light areas. At least the initial destinations in the districts that I work,
Yeah.
Anantapur and Kadapa of Andhra Pradesh, Rayalaseema region, they were primarily selling them into the organized sector,
Okay.
which was your Delhi GB Road and
Kamatipura.
Mumbai Kamatipura and Falkland Road and Grant Road and also Bhiwandi.
Oh, so they also have many branches.
Yeah, they're all different places. And then in Pune you have your Shukravar Pet and your Budvar Pet. So in these areas. So primarily these were the main 3 destinations at that point. Scenario has changed over the years. Now
It's expanded.
it's expanded.
Global.
It's, now destinations are Goa and Bangalore
I see.
and areas like even Meerut,
I see. Okay.
Rajasthan, some different areas, different places. Then your sex tourism places like your Kovalam beaches, Kerala, there.
Frightening, yeah.
Yeah, it's very frightening. And then the nature has also been evolving. So there is, street prostitution. There is slight organized sector on the highways, slightly on in terms of your sex tourism. Then there is that culture of getting a few girls, putting them together for massage parlors, or putting them together, for
With a facade.
with a facade, cell phone linkages, and fixing them up for lodges and resorts and stuff like that. So
It's a big industry.
it's a very, very lucrative industry, Chaya. and it
Lucrative
is
to whom? The ones who run it, or these women who are in it?
the ones who run it, not the women who are in it.
Not for them.
Not for them.
They're being exploited.
They are being exploited. There is only a percentage that makes good money, and that is a percentage that probably services the higher level of their clients,
Okay.
which could also be people who are very politically connected
Okay.
and or are political,
Hmm.
and it could also be people like your very top brass level of police.
Oh.
This is what it is at this point. So having got into it and getting so fired with it at that initial stage in 2000, 98, 99, my brother felt that, already I had worked at raising funds with UNICEF for the issue. And UNICEF believed that, here was a project that needed attention, and it was
Funding.
looking like a pioneering agency. So we must assist them. So my brother suggested I also register my own society. So in end of 99, beginning 2000, I founded STREE.
Okay.
STREE as in STHREE,
All right.
which is an acronym for Society to Help Rural Empowerment and Education.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And since then, I have spent 13 years, almost 13 years,
Lucky
just
13.
looking at resolving the problem.
Okay.
And we have grown abundantly. We have
Where are you headquartered? In Penukonda?
my headquarters are in Kadri,
Okay.
in Anandpur district. And we have a rehabilitation center there.
All right.
We have offices, we have a livelihood center. We run a shelter for these girls, rescued girls. We also have a wellness center for positives.
Okay. What's your modus operandi? How do you know, okay, these girls have been hardboard, and where do you get them and all that? Can you just walk us through that?
Initially everything was a question of gathering data. You have to have information before you can translate it into any sort of action or intervention. So we got information. We found families where their children were not there, where the children were either missing or the children had been sent or sold by the parents. And while we were gathering data about who was in the village and who was not in the village, we also got information on the traffickers, who the recruiters were at the ground level, who were the agents at the district level, all the way up to the state and to the destination point.
Okay.
Who the gharwali or the madam of which kamra number is running the brothel there, and who are the girls from Andhra who have been trafficked to her.
So you were focusing on the girls from Andhra?
Yeah, we were focusing on the girls from Andhra. So we were able to get this information. We faced a lot of hostility, particularly from the scheduled tribe community.
Why so?
They are called Sugalis. They're an offshoot of the Lombardis. And for them, it's like a cultural tradition. Their mother goes, the daughter goes, the sister-in-law goes, the bhabhi goes. Everybody is sold into prostitution.
Really? Okay.
And they are, in their own way, they're quite a permissive community. And the whole idea behind this entire culture is that eventually the girl is going to have money for dowry to get married.
But there would be a person ready to marry her in spite of all this.
Or their own boys are ready to marry them.
Because the money should
the money is being given. You see, so they will have
oh my
the
God,
backing.
Hema, I can't believe that we are in the 21st century.
Can you believe this is the 21st century?
And we are
it's
talking
disgusting.
about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Talking about educating and empowering women and...
Yeah.
Okay.
Chaya, some of these horror stories, I think I have to compile into a book. I'm seriously thinking of writing a book.
You must do that.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Because, in a talk show, it's so difficult to tell you exactly how pathetic.
Just tell us one case study which you think is which indicates the
I have
general
had so
story.
many girls who have come to me who have been so badly ill-treated.
Mm-hmm.
They've had, they still carry all the scars of the cigarette burns and the torture and the beating
By whom?
by the gharwalis and the customers.
Why the customers?
The
They're
customers,
getting what
because
they
she's
want.
refusing to, she doesn't want to be a part of the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So she's...
And in the presence of the gharwali.
Uh-huh.
So they've been like tortured, it's pathetic. They still carry those scars. They are so traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
Their mental health is all shot out.
Mm-hmm.
Their entire physical self has been subjugated at the age of 12 and 13.
Oh my God.
Imagine servicing 20 clients in a day. It's multiple rape. Multiple rape after rape after
At 12,
rape.
what
At
do they
12 and
get out
13.
of it? Poor kids.
And there's this crazy thinking amongst the customers that, if you have a virgin, you will never ever get AIDS, and you will always be pure, and your sexual prowess will improve.
Oh, really? Okay.
So they demand virgins, and they demand younger girls. The demand for a virgin girl and a just attained puberty girl is like the family in an ST family where it is so open, the transaction. They are paid 2 lakhs. The family is paid 2 lakhs to take that girl. Now that's a lot of money for them.
And here there's no police intervention or...
No, there is. After we brought things out into the open, there has been nothing but intervention after intervention after intervention.
All right. So now do the police support you in rescuing these girls? And
the police, in fact, if we did not have police support, we would have been probably killed. Literally.
Yeah,
killed.
I know.
So this is the thing. We ran into there is a mafia. It exists. We know it. My staff have been knifed and they've been beaten up. My offices have been ransacked.
These are by all the people who are running these institutions. Yeah. Okay.
My cottages have been
looted.
Villagers have been telling me, don't come, madam, to the village. Don't come, madam, to the village. There's a supari out on you for about 15 lakhs. Don't
come. Okay.
Yeah, and your coordinators, 8 lakhs. So I said,
but what keeps you going? Is it because you're really mad?
I think so. I
want to break here and tell my listeners, I have known Hema Bedi as a young girl in Mysore, part of a very, very successful, prosperous business family. She lived the life of a princess. I remember her birthday parties when she wore beautiful flouncy dresses. She had a cradle for her dolls. That's the background that Hema comes from. And here she is working for the rescue of women like this. You must be really mad to do this.
Yeah, but Chaya, I feel so good when I bring that smile back on their face, when they get empowered and when they are able to take employable jobs or run a little business on their own or have their own little petty shop or provision store.
They don't go
we
back
have had 80% success in rehabilitating girls.
Does the society accept them?
Well, we have worked so hard towards stigma removal. And with the ST community, there's no stigma attached.
Yeah.
Their own boys anyway marry them. So it has helped. We have worked from the ground level right up to the ministry levels to make sure that these kind of girls get immediate relief. When we rescue them and bring them back.
All right.
So the government has many schemes now in place for them.
Very nice.
So they get an initial relief amount of 10,000 rupees. Then they are linked to our shelter. They undergo training. They in whatever they would like to do. And if they don't like to do anything, then we don't shove it down their throat. So we work around it differently and find out what she's interested in.
Do they take some time to heal from their experiences?
Yes, they do.
Must be.
And there is constant psychosocial counseling. Counseling with them is like, it is a practice that goes on every day in their daily lives while they are with us. And then, many of them we have trained some people with NIFT. We have trained somebody in beautician courses. So we have some girls working in garment factories now in Bangalore as well as in Chennai. Then we have 1 or 2 girls who are also working as beauty parlors. And then some of them who have got married, who were also training for the beautician course, are now supplicating a double income with their husband.
That's
Because
nice.
what they do is in their own house, in one little room,
They set up.
they start off. They do simpler things that rural people like to do at a...
Threading and waxing.
Yeah,
and things
threading,
like that.
waxing, a haircut, and, mehendi, or now a little bit of hair color consciousness is there.
Okay.
So that kind of stuff, maybe a pedicure or a foot massage. Or,
That's pretty good.
yeah, so they make some money there.
Mm.
Then those who have learned soft skills from us have their own little sari work business going on, sari center type of thing,
Uh-huh.
where for the village where they're living now, they do all the soft skills of beads and sequin work and
Falls
stuff
and
like
zigzagging.
that. And in a sari, they can make anything between minimum 500 to 2,500.
Really?
Depending on the kind of work that goes into it.
So they're good at all that
They're
embroidery.
good at all that.
Okay.
We have been running these programs from 2002 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been plenty of girls who have been trained.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all using it in their life in some way or the other.
Beautiful.
Then those who were trained in tailoring have their own little... We get them linked to a loan from the government. Then they get their, they get a machine and they sit at home and they make clothes for people in the village as well.
Okay. So very
Those who were a
self-sustaining.
little ambitious were anyway trained with NIFT, and they are now earning, and they are in Bangalore. So they're all doing quite well.
You also, do you tie up with corporates and all this for this?
Yes, we do. In fact, we have worked with HSBC, ANZ, and also ING Vysya banks. These were the three banks. And we have worked with Titan Industries, especially for Tanishq, doing jewelry pouches.
Okay.
Then we have worked with Mysore Silk Sari Udyog.
Okay.
We have done most of their, the cushion covers and stuff like that, which they have in their
All right.
home linen department.
Okay.
They have a different shop for that called the Muse, I think. So that's where we do their work there. And then we provide most of the products that are made by the girls, especially things like fashion accessories
Okay.
and a couple of garments. Garments we have stopped now. We were doing them, but we still continue with the fashion accessories, and of late we've been doing a lot of jewelry. So we are constant suppliers. Supply goes to whenever there is a need for it, which is at least 4 or 5 times in a year.
Okay.
To Levitate, then Kahava.
Okay.
Kahava, not so much now. Then
These are all outlets.
these are the outlets, yeah.
Okay.
Then there's another shop called Things. And
And who does all this marketing and linking up all these things?
basically I do, because, it's like...
You know a
people
lot
say
of
it's
people,
like,
and that's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's people say, oh, heavens, yours is, it's really like a one-man show.
Yes.
In a way.
One
because-
woman show.
One-woman show. Yeah.
But what happens is most of these NGOs, the biggest problem they have is of marketing.
Yeah. I've been able to do it because I've had a good cause and I've known the people.
Yeah.
And
you've been in advertising.
I've been in advertising. So I've had lots of linkages from there.
Okay.
So it hasn't been so difficult for me. It's to sustain it as a very lucrative trade it requires more inputs.
Okay.
But it goes on. At least
What's
it
your
gets the
basic
money
funding
girls.
for all these activities? Where do you get your funding from?
See, UNICEF supported us for almost 7 to 8 years, because being a pioneering agency, and then we culminated into becoming globally the worldwide model to replicate.
Recognition, yes.
Yeah, to replicate for successful combating of
trafficking
at the grassroots. Mainly because we had done such an excellent job also of being able to form these. Our USP was the village level anti-trafficking committees that we formed.
Okay.
These were the vigilant ones who comprised of even your victim, who we say now today is a survivor.
Okay.
We don't like to call her victim. And also your ward members, your teacher, the family member, or
people in the community. You got all their support and...
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay.
Yeah. So we worked a lot through the anti-trafficking committees, And they were like a real boon to the trade. It was like they themselves got so interested. So passing on information, counseling girls who were coming back so that they wouldn't be re-trafficked. Then preventing brokers and agents from recruiting girls because they would pass on the information to us. Then we would tell the police and we would nab them before they were
Taken away.
taken away.
Okay. But most of it, what is the percentage of those who are willingly into it and those who have been forced into it?
See, I think there are at least in between the years 99 to 2008, 9, I would say at least 70 to 80%.
Forced.
Yeah. And 70 to 80% would not like to be in the trade.
Oh my God. Okay. You said 70 to 80% don't like to be in it.
And
But now.
Yeah.
But now.
Yeah. But now, Chaya, the trend seems to have changed. And it is because there has been so much pressure from people like us that in a way it has forced the gharwalis and the people who are recruiting and in the trade to see that the girls are well paid.
Oh.
So now they are paying them and they are
But they're still
choosing.
trafficking.
They're still trafficking.
Oh.
But what is happening is the adult girls, the girls who are above 18 plus,
Uh-huh.
some of them are being trained, like I told you, to look at a higher class of people whom they could entertain and go out for with dirty weekends.
But they are willing to do it. They are not forced.
because they are getting 25, 30,000 for every time they go out.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So, but this is applicable to the adults.
This is something more like call girl types, right?
Yeah.
Escort.
But this is what GB Road, the organized sector, is doing
Oh, okay.
also. Then they are pushing them into trying to legalize their rights,
Which is what?
which is
To be able to do this.
to be able to do this
Okay.
so that they can make the money. And now, of course, the girl has to make money.
So is this
Otherwise,
illegal
they
right
will
now?
lose. It is illegal. In India,
Uh-huh.
prostitution is illegal.
But it's still so rampant.
It's still so.
And still police and politicians and all go and
all
using this
using it.
facility.
Yeah. You know the kind of money
What are we
that
doing?
Delhi police Kamla Market makes?
Uh-huh.
They make every day $1.50
By what?
by way of income that they get from the
Pimps.
pimps, from the
Gharwalis
gharwalis,
and-
from the girls also.
I like the way they're called gharwalis.
Yeah.
Ghar nahi hai, par gharwali.
Gharwalis.
Okay.
And of course, every time there is a young minor who is brought in, they are paid 1.5 to 2 lakhs per minor who is brought in. So that
But what about that
You know,
minor child? She
things
doesn't
can
even
be changed
know.
on that register they maintain. And believe you me, Chaya, this cannot be done without some very top people allowing for
Supporting
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we know that there has to be somebody really high up who is supporting this. So now what is happening is, I mean, they are also making money, making more money than they ever made. Why? Because people like us have been coming, rescuing, raiding, taking the girls away, and we've been getting convictions, arresting the traffickers, getting convictions for them. We've managed to get 10 to 14 years rigorous imprisonment as the
Really?
highest.
Okay.
As the highest
For the procurers and the gharwalis.
conviction rate.
Okay.
And earlier there were no convictions. It was taking time to have convictions because the law was also so, it's a
Deela.
bit wishy-washy.
Really deela, yeah.
Now things have been tightened a bit.
Okay.
We've lobbied for it, and during Renuka Chaudhary's time, a group of us NGOs worked with her, and we were able to make some
Headways in this. What do you see in future? Where is it going? It's only going to be legalized. It's going to be structurized. It's going to be validated. That's all. But it's not going to stop, right?
See, it's not going to stop. And I don't think legalization will happen, because legalization, even as a practice in European countries and others today, is like closing. The whole circle is turning.
Okay.
Because what happens is legalization becomes a pretext for the traffickers to make more and more money with minors whom they pose as adults.
Adults. Okay.
And it is the plight of the minors that we are concerned with. Nobody, you can counsel as much as you like an adult woman. And if she
Yeah.
wants to,
She'll
she
do
will
it.
take her choice.
Okay.
She may decide, okay, I would rather look at a life that is different, which may also give me comfortable money,
Mm-hmm.
and it may give me more money than that. Also, anything is possible. But do I want to or do I not want to is up to her.
Okay. So the concern is about those who are forced into it, whether
Those
they
who
are minors
forced.
or
And
major.
adults who are forced into it.
Yeah.
Because there are a number of adults who also get forced into
Forced.
it.
Okay.
Not every 18 plus woman is interested in being in the flesh trade, whether there's money in it or whether there's no money in it.
Okay. So
it
the
is
flesh
those-
trade is like another profession, the
flesh
oldest
trade,
profession.
Flesh trade, Chaya, there are the 3 biggest crime syndicates that are money spinners throughout the globe.
Okay.
Is your arms and ammunition.
Yes.
That comes
okay.
first.
Yeah.
Then comes your drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes prostitution,
Really?
trafficking, human trafficking.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Human trafficking, as in prostitution, could be also slavery, bonded labor, it could be organ selling, it could be anything.
Anything.
But human trafficking is now fast replacing drugs as the number 2.
Wow. Okay.
So you can imagine what kind of money there is in this system.
Mm-hmm. And the women are supporting it. The Garwalis are women.
The Gharwalis are women. In most cases, the Gharwalis wind up being ex-sex workers.
Okay.
The older women who have spent their life in
who are not marketable
in the
anymore.
flesh trade, who are not marketable anymore, they start in turn to become recruiters.
So don't you think this is...
And then eventually they make money enough through the commissions and then open
Set
their
up.
own little separate kamra.
Oh my God. But don't you think, Hema, I feel if women had solidarity, if women supported each other, if women it could be prevented, but women are encouraging this.
Yeah.
Okay, men are. Okay, they are the beneficiaries of this.
Yeah.
But if women clammed up and they came together as a group and they prevented it from happening, it could happen, right?
Yes, it could happen.
It could be prevented.
It could be prevented, but that's what we are doing at the village level. Now, how much we can do at the demand side, we can't be working there.
No, I'm not talking
demand
about...
side, you need to have different interventions. You need other network partners like ours to work on issues there.
I'm talking about the mindset of women.
The mindset, yeah.
Women should get together and make sure this doesn't happen. Not
True,
organizations,
true.
but individual women.
But Chaya, all women, not just your rural women, not just your...
Women.
Women. Period.
50% of the
50%
population
of
is
the
women.
population.
Can you imagine if everybody raised their voice against it and made sure that such a thing won't happen? Kaun
They'll
mai
be
ka
able to
lal
curtail
karega
it.
kuch
They'll be able to put a dent in it. They'll be able to make an impact on it. But eventually, nobody can stop it. Doesn't seem to me like this is something you can stop.
Mm-hmm. It's a very, very
But
scary thought
It's a scary thought.
to end on.
Yeah.
Thank you so
it's
much,
true.
Hema. You're doing wonderful work. Like if you give a new life to even one individual, that itself is making a difference.
Yeah.
And you're doing it a number of them.
And I'm so, this is fulfilling for me. See, I found my calling.
Yes.
I was searching, I found my calling. And I've been recognized for my work. I've been awarded for it. So it's, that's fine. It's a part of something that I take in humility, that yes, people recognize the fact that I have done good work and therefore they've awarded me. But it's the self. I myself feel that, I've achieved something that has made me happy, satisfied, and totally mad.
You would like to support this venture from wherever you are. Make a little contribution to the rescue, rehabilitation of some girl out there whom you don't even know. That's called going mad.